I just found out about this new Pokemon inspired game called Doodle World. Now I've never played this game before, so I have no idea what to expect, but if it's anything like Pokemon, I will definitely probably enjoy this game. And if you guys are interested in this game, I will be leaving the game link in the description down below. Also, based on how this playthrough goes, I might make more videos as well. But now that we got the intro out of the way, let's get into the game. So this game has a story mode with some online features. In the beginning of the game, your mom sees a poster on the job board and basically tells you to get a job as a doodle tamer in order to win some money because she's tired of providing for you. She also wants to travel the world with the money you earn, so right off the bat, definitely never going back home after I leave. Your mom basically forces this job on you 1 month later. The first thing I needed to do so I can head on to my journey was to go to the lab and get my first doodle. After I get into the lab, I finally meet the professor that will give me my first doodle. Now, a very interesting thing about this game is all the creatures are drawings. Now this makes the game a lot more unique and is a really cool idea in my opinion. So to start off, this professor works for Doodle Co, which you will find out later is probably one of the worst organizations in video game history. Now it's not because they're evil or anything, well at least I don't know if they are yet, but all the workers seem to hate their jobs and don't get anything done. But like I said, you'll see later on what I mean. Now first off, Doodle Co gives a bad vibe because the first thing he tells me about your starter doodle is that if you accept the starter, you will automatically sign a waiver to state that if you get hurt on your journey, Doodle Co isn't responsible for it. Now to be fair, in real life, if someone gave me a free monster to kill other monsters, I wouldn't ask any questions either. After loading up the database, it was time to pick my starter. The first one is called Pupsky, which is basically a husky with ice powers. The next one on the list is the fire type named Vipe Ember. The design is basically a malnourished snake in my opinion. Now one of the coolest designs out of all the starters is the spark type named Tabolt. The only thing is the design is an A+ and the name has to be at most a D-. Now the last starter has to be the least intriguing one out of the 4. Scrappy is an earth type with a simple monkey design. Now after scrolling through these for about 5 minutes, I decided to go with the malnourished snake because it's fire. Everyone knows fire starters are always the best. Now after acquiring Vipe Ember, this professor was actually foolish enough to challenge me to a battle. The battle animations aren't super amazing, but like I said before, I at least like the idea of every creature being drawings. Now this was the quickest tutorial fight I've ever had. I pretty much used one fire move and his doodle was wasted. I knew I chose the right starter after this match. Another thing I wanted to point out is that when your doodle faints, it gets erased off the screen with an eraser, which I thought was really cool. So I ended up taking the professor's lunch money after defeating his weak turtles. And then after the match, I met what I was assuming is the character that really reminds me of Barry from Gen 4. This kid is just rich and spoiled. He only came to get a rare doodle but didn't want to wait the 20 minutes to get one. Me and him ended up battling because he wanted my new partner I just acquired. Quincy really wanted to steal my doodle when he has his own already. And on top of that, the kid is rich. He can probably pay someone to get his own doodles if anything. But anyways, he throws out Sheldo. Typings are a little different from Pokemon, but if there's one thing that will always work in the beginning of these types of games, it's just spamming your first fire move till your opponent dies. My Vipe Ender made quick work of this kid's pathetic doodle, then he ended up going back to his private jet. But not after taking $1,500 from him, which is probably pocket change to him. It was finally time to get out of this lab and go on my adventure. But first, the professor handed me a starter kit with 5 capsules and the Doodlepedia, which is basically Pokeballs and a Pokédex. After that, he reminds me I can't trade or release my Vipe Ember to basically tell me it's proof that I signed their safety waiver. But then he tells me something that really ruined the game in a way. He said I could purchase starters from him if I wanted to trade them. So I ended up buying all the starters anyways for 40 Robux each. Now you can argue this game is pay to win if you're trying to focus more on the multiplayer aspect of the game, but if you're here to play the story, I would classify it as a pay for convenience. Either way, you can acquire all the things you can purchase. It'll just take you more effort than forking over your life savings. For some, this may not appeal to, but if you're into Pokemon, I can tell you that this game will be fun without paying if you don't want to. Now that the training wheels are off, I can start to explore the map a little bit more. I headed past the bridge to Route 1. I ended up battling a couple of trainers throughout the route to gain some more experience. At this point, I was a little bit disappointed because after defeating some of the trainers, I realized that my Vipe Ember was pretty much just just one-shotting everything I would face. Now I was thinking that this game was probably going to be the easiest Pokemon type game I've played. Now I felt this way until I ended up meeting Hiker Miles. Now he's not really anything too special, it was just that I didn't have any of the right typings to defeat Skewed. He ended up almost taking out all of my doodles in the end. This also made me realize that this game could actually be pretty competitive based off the typings. Now there's not any typing that you could just go around defeating anyone you wanted just with one of them, so it actually shows that the balancing in this game is pretty good. So at the end of Route 1 I ran into another rival before I made it to Route 2. Her name is Inari, and now her backstory is kinda weird, but the gist of it is that she wants to be a shinobi, and she says that she broke a shinobi rule by bumping into me, so she tries to battle me to keep me quiet so she doesn't get in trouble. But what she doesn't know is that this game is child's play compared to all the other journeys I've had before. She got lucky because I didn't heal before this match, but even with the handicap she was fairly easy to beat. She only had one doodle with her named Kitsen, which so far has the coolest design I've seen in the game. Kitsen was kinda weak, but I did have the type advantage, which made this a quick fight. So after defeating Inari in battle, she ends up bribing me with more things. She gives me a katana and an equipment case. I accept the terms and decide not to tell anyone about her mishap. So I ended up returning home, and not because I wanted to, but more because I needed a place to heal. Then I tested out the pay for convenience aspect of the game again. I decided just to take the whole roulette set because I wanted the dragon. I headed over to the Doodle lab to put my new partners in my team. I went back to the entrance of Route 2 and continued to press on. I'm not going to show you all these side characters losing to me, but I ended up clearing out the whole route pretty fast. When I made it to the end of Route 2, I met a new friend. His name is TJ, and he apparently lived in Lakewood his entire life. So he offers to give me a quick tour around the whole town because apparently it's his job. He took me inside the town and showed me the bike shop, which doesn't look like I can get one yet since the owner is gone. He then shows me their famous lake, and from what he says it shrinks every year, so global warming is a thing in this game. There's also a subway that doesn't work because, like I said before, Doodle Co is the laziest organization in video game history. Then we head over to the most important thing in this town, the Doodle Station, which is where I can buy items, switch out my doodles, and heal them as well. Another pretty cool idea implemented in this game is that the healing machine injects ink into your doodles, which is a new way of healing because they're drawings. After healing up, I headed over to Route 3. Now, like the previous routes, I pretty much breezed through every challenger here before continuing the story. I also ran into this kid who only accepts double battles, which is a great feature to add into the game for a more competitive play when playing multiplayer. And then after defeating him, my Vipe Ember finally evolved. I'm not gonna lie, the animation for the evolution was pretty underwhelming. Would be a lot more creative if they did a similar animation to the eraser when they faint. Like, instead of having them use an eraser, they could use a pencil to draw out the evolution and the process of them changing. But anyways, it evolved into a scorpion. After that, I decided to continue the story. This is another example of why Doodle Co employees are trash. This guy is literally thinking about not doing his job because he won't get any consequences. Then this guy tries to tell me it's going to take weeks to fix. There's this weird dialogue between the engineer and this new guy with the mask. He starts to ask about the engineer, then somehow they start to talk about Roblox. And the engineer goes back to his house because he told him he could help him with the boss in his favorite game. Whoever wrote this story doesn't know how real conversations go, I'm just saying. But anyways, they leave, then TJ shows up. And then me and TJ have a dialogue of our own. I tell him what happened, and then he flips out because he said that I didn't do anything to help him from getting kidnapped. He just walked by them and didn't do anything about it either. But like all stories go, we have to go save the guy that went with the bad guy on his own free will. So I headed back to Lakewood with TJ to find out that his house is in the sewers. Not really the ideal place to be living, especially when you're a criminal and can do a lot better than that. Then this guy has guards in biker helmets guarding a sewer home like people would actually want to break in. They do the whole "we don't let you pass" bit. We end up battling them to get past anyways. And like everyone in this game so far, they have no strong doodles. So I end up beating him like everyone else in this game. Then I find out TJ is the worst possible person for this job. This dude says he's winning, but it's gonna take him a while, so I need to go on ahead. I end up traveling the sewers for a little bit just to level up, and my Pupsky starts to evolve. Now I was really hyped for this evolution until I saw it. He went from so much promise to a husky morphing into a rat. And then after that disappointment of an evolution, I headed to Riff Raff's house. I casually walk into this dude's house and the engineer's just chilling on his couch playing Roblox. So he doesn't really look like he needs saving to me. Riffraff shows me around his house that looks like it was built by an 8-year-old. He just has a bunch of games in every corner of his house, and apparently he is good at every game he has. He even said he was the air hockey champion as a child. And this is how I know TJ is probably the most useless friend to have in this game. We played all these games in his house for around 2 hours. 2 whole hours, and TJ barely makes it into his house. But anyways, because of TJ, Riffraff says that we can only leave unless one of us beats him in a battle. And of course that means me, because dude spent a whole 2 hours battling one guy. And he said he didn't have the chance to heal. I wouldn't want to wait around battling someone for 2 hours anyways, because I'm not a side character. Now Riffraff has been the toughest opponent I've had so far, which isn't really saying much because I've only had to heal around 3 to 4 times in 2 hours of playing this game. So I ended up beating Riffraff, so we were free to go. And then after we leave the house, I end up finding out that it was all a part of his plan. I still don't know what the reason is, but I guess we'll find out later on. And I think this is a good stopping point for this video. We got a lot done, met a lot of interesting creatures and characters. So don't forget to smash that like button. Let's try to get 50 likes on this video and I'll do a part 2. Also, don't forget to comment down below what you guys thought of this game, or if you have any questions about how to play this game as well. I will be leaving the link in the description down below, so don't forget to check that out. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and bell notification. It'll inform you guys when I drop more videos like these so you can be the first ones to see them. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.